I'm Dr. T. Welcome to my office. So I'd like to talk a bit about compound units. These are ones that we occasionally run into in chemistry. Not occasionally. We run into them all the time. So of course, I talked about units. You've got units that are, they provide context to a number. So I've got my number, it's got the value, that's the numeral part, the thing you think of as the number, but it always has a unit with it. And quite often, it's just a single unit. It tells you what that number represents. But sometimes that number represents things like a ratio or other scenarios where there's more than one unit involved. So the way we think about these is we simply make the unit a compound unit. It's multiple units in one. Typically, the classic example is density. So density is the amount of mass per unit volume. And so because you are effectively creating a ratio, mass divided by volume, the units are going to be the same. A unit of mass divided by a unit of volume. So grams per milliliter is a classic one. With these, this gives us a couple pieces of information. One, if I want to solve for this, then I know I need to take the type of units that are in the numerator and multiply those together if there's more than one of them, and the type of units that are in the denominator, multiply those together, and then divide the numerator units by the denominator units. Fairly straightforward. I can use my units to really reflect on what type of math I need to be doing with that number. Alternatively, I can use them as a conversion factor. If I have one of the two or more units in a compound unit, then I can use that compound unit to switch over. So if I know my volume and I know the density, I can use the density and volume together to solve for the mass. I treat my units very much like I would treat variables. They're not variables. You don't plug anything into them, but you can cancel them out very much like you would a variable. So if I have, say, 5 milliliters, I can multiply that by 2 grams per milliliter. That gives me 10. The milliliters on the 5 milliliters and the milliliters as part of the grams per milliliter cancel, leaving me only grams left. Bada boom, bada bang, I've used my compound unit. Now you will see these guys getting really complicated. Things like constants typically have lots of them because these are here to sort out all of the units in relationships. So of course things like gas law, where R, the gas constant, has a volume unit, a pressure unit, and then those two are divided by the product of usually moles and Kelvin, although it's an absolute temperature unit and then a counting unit of some sort, which those are you only do normal ones. So yeah, when you're dealing with compound units, let the units be your guide. Let those describe what that thing is and inform how you handle them. Generally, your goal is to cancel out units that you don't want and leave units that you do. With that said, have a wonderful day.